twinkling lights. Families gathering closer on these warm December nights. Smiles you haven't seen in what feels like a year or two. But Christmas has a way of bringing everybody through. Hands up high, the stars are cheering. All the dreams that we're revering. Feel the heartbeat disappearing into something bright and clear. So let's light up the world this Christmas. Shine brighter than we ever have before. Raise your voice, feel the...
And welcome everybody to the Thursday night episode of the Trace Amigos Talk Show. We are so thankful that you have decided to spend an hour of your precious time with us this Thursday night. Guys, I am so excited for tonight's guest. It's our time to shine. And when I mean our, I mean the Santas. So welcome to everybody in the chat. Welcome to the Santas in the chat, all the bearded gentlemen in the chat, and all the ladies. We welcome you and thank you so much for being here. We have none other than Santa Lincoln Crum, friend of the Trace Amigos. He's been on. We are glad to have him back, and we will get to him in just a moment. I'm going to introduce my two the main stars of the show, the Bearded Chief and the Tactical Santa. And it is an honor every week to be joined with these two guys. I look forward to it. And before we say hello to the chat, Chief, how are you doing this week?
That was a nice introduction. Thank you, Santa. This has been a roller coaster of a week. Busy, busy, busy. I almost called Santa Crum and said, hey, I need some of that energy, man, because that dude has got some energy. I hear he's powered not by food, but by a nuclear power plant. That guy's got some energy.
Yes, he does. and Chief, now I know we had the snowpocalypse down here in Texas, but I heard you guys got a little snow too. We got about an eighth of an inch of a little bit of ice cover.
Oh my!
I shut the state down.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Santa. Hey, listen, everybody in the chat, give us a thumbs up if you guys are safe and everything's good and the roads are thawed. Just let us know you're safe. Just thumbs up real quick.
Dino, how you doing, sir?
I'll tell you what, I'm doing good. I've had a busy week too. My work actually, a pipe burst because of the cold and flooded my the retail store I work at. So we were dealing with about 1.5 inches of water in the showroom. Had to get that all cleaned up. It was kind of like running around with like a chicken with the head cut off for a little bit, but got it all squared away. Sorry you had to deal with the frozen Arctic tundra type of weather you had, Santa Tom. But you should probably come and hang out with Chief and I up north here for a little while, so you can get ready for the Polar Express this next year.
I don't know how y'all do it.
We'll get your Santa training going with the cold weather.
How y'all do it? I mean, even Santa Lincoln living in Indiana, it's just too much. It's too much. It was cold. I mean, for Texas, for East Texas, it got a lot colder up in North Texas, but for East Texas, it got down to about 17 degrees. Guys, I know some of y'all out there laughing, but I'm telling you right now, for here, it's brutal. We're just not used to it, and we're not built for it. I'll just leave it there, but I hope I see all the thumbs up. I'm glad everybody's doing good. And without further ado, because we got a lot to talk about tonight, I'll get to the chat real quick, say hello to everybody. Chris, I think dropped this at 10:15 yesterday or the day before. He was in here. He got in first.
No, you don't mess around.
Jeff, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you.
Mr. Hamid.
How's it going, Jeff? All right. And Thad, how's it going, brother? It's good to see you, man. What's going on, Kay Houston? What's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, Kenny.
Good to see you, man. Born Bitter Dave, thank you so much. See you listening. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you,
I fell asleep right before the show started. I'm the world's worst about as soon as I lay down in that bed, guys, and go to watch something, I fall asleep. Abe, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you.
Abe.
What's going on, Jim? Jim, I'm glad you got your Facebook, new Facebook account going.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. And there he is, Santa's Restoration Workshop. Guys, I'm gonna leave it as a surprise, but we definitely will have him on the show with the other Santa squad, but it'll be a lot of fun. Michael, how you doing, my friend? And Santa Allen Claw. I forgot. Let me go ahead and get this one out the way.
Oh my God!
All right, there we go. And all right, Bubba Claus, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you, man.
Whole bunch of Santa
A lot of
Claus.
Santas in here tonight to see
Lots of
the
Santas.
CEO Santa Lincoln.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes, absolutely, man. Babysitter Jess, how you doing?
Yes.
So good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And Jeff, 3D, how you doing? It's good to see you.
Pretty.
All right. I got to talk to Mr. Jeff Harmon the other day on the phone. It was good catching up with him. Bearded and Blessed, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you, man. All right. Scrolling. Willie, how you doing, Santa Willie? It's good to see you.
Willie.
Willie.
Oh, man. Dino,
Dino.
so much for being here, brother. I appreciate you so much. All right. I'm scrolling, guys. A lot of people are talking. Ray Smokey, good to see you, man.
Smokey.
That's a winning dude right there.
Mm-hmm.
Randy, appreciate
Randy.
you, brother. All right. Lee, good to see you, man.
What up, Lee?
Thank you so much, Lee and Kim. Appreciate you guys. Okay, Finest Mixed Breed. What's going on, brother?
Finest.
Jay's replacement. What's up?
Warlock,
What up, Warlock?
good to see you, brother. Thank you so much for coming in. I can't wait for you to see Santa Lincoln. I know I couldn't have gone through everybody already. Brewer, thank you so much for being here.
What's up, Brewer?
Appreciate your shout out to the Bearded Respect. They come on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys make sure you check them out. I think, unless you guys see if I've missed anybody, I think
Dirty Spray Jay.
Dirty Spray.
Jay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Formerly known as 10 millimeter Jay.
If I missed anybody, go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm going to probably make a little video about my tractor. Yes, my tractor. I got to replace fuel filters and things like that. They all clogged up with a little bit of ice. And I found something that fits down in the tank. And I'm probably going to have to mention Brewer because it's coffee related. It's a stainless steel one that you put in like a mason jar and make like cold brew. It fits right down in that gas tank and kind of gets all the crud out before it gets into your fuel. So I think I'm going to do a little tractor hack on YouTube.
Nice.
Thanks, Brewer.
Nice. Uh-oh. What kind of tractor?
A Kubota diesel.
Nice.
Mhm, yeah. And
deal.
she just stopped working on me a little bit, man. I got a little bit of ice and a little gelling going on, so I got to replace my fuel filters.
Now, where is Kubota made? Is Kubota like from a Russian area, or is that am I not thinking of?
Man, I
The
don't
right
know
brand.
where Kubota's made. I know there's 2 dealerships in town, so
Oh, okay. Well, there you
Yeah.
go. Well, guys, without further ado, we've taken up some time here, but I say we get our guest on and make them feel welcome. Guys, please help us welcome Santa Lincoln Crum to the show. What's going on, sir?
What's up, Santa?
Hi, everybody. Good evening. How are you guys?
no. Hey,
I'm
so
locked and loaded.
we're going to forego our silly questions since you've already answered some silly questions from us previously. So we're just going to get right into it because it's going to be a good show tonight, Santa. And I wanted to kind of kick off. Sorry, Dino and Tom, but I kind of wanted to kick off with presence and present. And when I was a kid, that moment right in time when you were getting your Hot Wheels and your Tonka trucks, those were presents. But now that I've grown up and I've got kids of my own, I didn't really realize it too much until my grandkids came into the picture, and just watching their faces when they're tearing open their presents and stuff. That is the present right now. That's where I want to be. That's what I want to watch and see those kids light up and just feel thankful. And that's my present every year, is watching my grandkids and my kids
Yeah.
happy all in one place.
Yeah. It's the best present there is. It's really the only thing you have.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I've always preached being present as Santa and also as an individual. And I personally believe that it's very important to be present. I've spent a lifetime where I was too focused on the past and my mistakes or what I could have done, and too focused on what the future might be if I could do this. And I just got all caught up in everything but the present. And when you get caught up in everything but the present, you end up with no present. And you are correct about that. Is the thing about being a grandparent, is that's that other unlocked level of love that you get to experience. And it's when they're opening something that you had something to do with, and you see how happy it makes them. It does take you back to when you were little and those core present memories, Mine was a ColecoVision in 1982 that my dad got me. All my friends had an Atari. My dad was a Santa for hire at the Green Tree Mall. He was a mall Santa in the early 80s. Hated it. And he one year bartered part of his Santa money to get my brother and I in middle school a ColecoVision, which was the gaming system.
It was.
And
Yes,
I
it
didn't realize
was.
that until I became Santa. My mom passed away. I had a bunch of her journals, found my grandma's journal, and she said, big day. Richard picked up the boys' Christmas gift. They're going to be so excited. And I'm like, damn. He sacrificed everything. He really
what's
sacrificed
special?
money for the gas bill for
Yeah.
a ColecoVision for us.
That's
When you're a
special.
kid, you
He
don't know
gave
that.
a portion of his time to get something for somebody else. He sacrificed his time for you
And
guys.
at that time, it was either $12.50 or $15 an hour to be Santa.
Wow.
And you wore their suit. There's a picture on my refrigerator of me and my dad, him in his Santa suit. He absolutely, as much as I love it and was born to be Santa, he was not.
No.
Sometimes as Santa, we got to do what we got to do, right?
Yeah.
Right?
If you get the calling doesn't look like my calling for everybody, just like your guys' calling doesn't look like the same as mine does. That's what makes being Santa so much fun and so worth it, right? So, yeah, I'm with the present moment. I've written a talk that I've delivered a couple of times that I'll deliver this year as a keynote called Staying Present in a Hungry World.
I've
There's
got
a whole
one
lot of
more.
hunger. Hunger can be a good thing, too.
Yeah, you're right.
Hunger for education, hunger for kindness,
Love.
hunger for all those things.
Mhm.
And it can also, for every bad, there's got to be the good. It's all about keeping the universe or the tips of the scale balanced.
Yin and yang.
That's right. Being a Santa really drove that lesson home to me. Because I would think every time I go be Santa, I'm like, well, I don't know. This is not the last time. But if this is the last time I'm going to ever be Santa, I want to make it the best I can.
I love that.
And there's been thousands of those moments now in the past 5 years. And that's just it's just part of my DNA, just part of my makeup. So y'all want to talk about Christmas season 2025?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you all about two things tonight, two topics. One being my local season and a little trip that I got to make that was for 30, 40 days. And then I did 122 stops. I did a trip to Minneapolis to the Mall of America. I've got to be a Mall of America Santa, experience Santa, and that was a highlight of my career for me. And then we'll talk about the second part of my career, of my season, which was spent in Hong Kong and Tokyo, Japan, and traveling. And I have some fun little things to share with you all about that. So if you'd like, we'll get started on the local season last year.
Yeah.
It was my fifth season. It was my best season. It was my most grounded, balanced season for me. I had some issues. I had an alternator go out on me, made me 45 minutes late to a photo shoot at a daycare, and that drove me crazy, but they were awesome. They've already rebooked me for next year. And I had a flat tire one night after I had a 14-hour Santa day, and I was driving home, and I had a flat tire. And I thought for a few minutes that I could just walk the 2 miles home until after about 10 steps, I'm like, no, let's not be stupid here. And so I had an issue where I was doing a promo, and I picked up a really fun deal with a local shoe. They have 250 shoe stores across the country called Shoe Sensation. And I was in 6 of their stores with my Oh No, Santa's Going to the Moon book. And so I got to really experience some amazing stuff with them. And I had a couple moments where I got really super overwhelmed with all of the stops and all of the visits and the retail stuff and the travel stuff. And I kind of just got lost in my season a little bit. And I think that was supposed to happen because I was able to do more media stuff this year. I was on all 3 of the major TV channels, stations in the Louisville market. And I did a lot of food work. And I just wanted to make sure I was grounded as much as possible during the season, where I could get the most out of it. And my career as Santa is kind of changing, right? So I go from doing big events and parades and thousands of people sometimes, and just absolutely love that. But my favorite thing for my season last year was Elf on a Shelf deliveries. And I would do an Elf on a Shelf delivery, and I would bring this box on some of them. And you open the box, you take it, you get the elf out of their hiding spot that you coordinate with the parents, and you put it in here and you go inside. You have intel. There's 2 to 4 kids tops, 1 to 4 kids tops. So it's a smaller visit. It's a more one-on-one visit, and you get them to touch the box. And, I don't know if you all know this, but when you're trying to build present core memories, the more senses that you can activate with a child, with all of us, but really with a child, because you're still in development of everything, the more you will remember that present core memory. So if you touch this and feel the patina on the box, if you open it, I rubbed it down with beard oil. If you open it, it smells like beard oil. Then you got the visual of your elf in there. So I'm trying to get as many of their reactions as possible, because that's what builds it. And this little box, I also used it as a nice list, naughty list identifier. So I would have I gave away a lot of little rubber duckies this year, Santa themed rubber duckies, probably 1,000 of them. And I would put them in here, and I go, okay, now you rub this. And if it opens, you're on the nice list. If it doesn't open, you're on the naughty list. And if it kind of goes like this, you're on the maybe list. And, you look at these littles and their eyes are this big. They're like, what is getting ready to happen here? I'm like, and if it opens, you can get something out of there. It was the best Santa magic that I've applied yet. So you'd open it up. And so I did a lot of photography sessions. So I'd have these at my photography session. We'd open it up and be like that. And the photographer would just get the best photo there was. They're just the best photo. So we started our season with a lot of photo visits with school fairs, that they do in November. But I really am becoming a photography studio Santa. I love that micro visit with the littles. I like showcasing all of my different clothes and accessories. But I like the challenge of meeting a child or seeing them again for the first time in a year sometimes, building that rapport, reading the room. There's some of them. Reading the room and then getting the shot, right? The visit's great, but the people are paying for a picture. They're not paying. Some pay for a crying picture because they love those. I don't love those. I take them sometimes, but I don't love those because the little doesn't love it and I don't love it. And then it's no fun. But I have that challenge of making sure that we get them in and we get a shot. You got less than 10 minutes. At Mall of America, we were doing visits every 5 minutes, 3 straight days. Wow. And to me, as a Santa, that's the ultimate chair work. You have to read the room. You have to build rapport. Now, when I went to Mall of America, it was wonderful. Those people, they have figured it out. It's called the Santa Experience. It's owned by Rachel and Lando. They also own an old-timey photo business at the Mall of America. They're one of 250 or so operators of those across the country, and they have been doing Santa photos for 15, 20 years, I think. And Rachel really knows how to do it. So I was we had 2 studios. You're in a real studio. Santas are never seen together. And you have an iPad with intel, with names, ages, elf's name, pet's name, any quirky stuff, special needs stuff. I do love my special needs community. And I got some good reviews. I got some reviews that I look like the classic Coca-Cola Santa, which thank you, Coca-Cola. And I appreciate that. And I just really had a great experience. And it taught me how to be a better photography studio. And I did that towards the end of my local stint. I did that Thanksgiving week. And so when I go back and have all my sessions this year in early November, I will have that training and all of that I learned at the Mall of America. And I'm going to tell you, it made a difference it made a difference on the sessions I did after. And it's important for me to deliver a visit to a child or to a little that gets something from it and there's a takeaway from it. So whether it's a smell or a feeling or whatever, there's always a takeaway. And I hold it in the highest regard, thanks to this ring. I hold it in the highest regard of that ring to make sure that we capture the best positive moment that we can with them. And sometimes it's a matter of just sitting with them. Sometimes it's a matter of just being quiet. Sometimes, most every time, it's time for the parents to quit talking. And it's a special gift that I have been given to be able to take multiple photos with littles dressed up in a silly suit over and over and over. And the beauty for me is my photo. Oh, so here, I got to tell you about this little baby. I'll come right back to this little baby. It's going to rock your world. And so for me, though, in doing these photography Santas, I got 5 or 6 Christmas cards this year with me on the card, with the families that I take pictures with. And that's a really warm and fun feeling to be able to do that. And so all of these pictures of me in people's houses, it's not of Lincoln Crum. It's not even of Santa Lincoln. It's of Santa Claus. First and foremost. And I'm here to help enrich what that Santa vision is for them, but it has nothing to do with Lincoln Crum. It has to do with the art of performing and pulling that out of me that I don't use in other areas of my life. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so this little baby is Taj Mullen's little baby. Taj is the one that illustrated my book, Oh No, Santa's Going to the Moon, that you all have a copy of. Taj and I created Oh No, Santa's Going to the Moon before the baby was born. I told Taj, draw this picture of whatever image that you see of this child. Make the Santa look kind of like me, but make the child whatever image you see. I met Taj at a 13-week culinary program, and we hit it off. We became buddies right away. And yeah, there's the book. And so, see the little kid in the book? That look, Ash, his little kid, he drew that character before Mash was born.
Wow.
So he knew what was supposed to be. So when I got the chance to take a Santa photo with my Mash this year, it rocked my world because it brought it all back. The reason why I do my books, the reason why I speak, the reason why I do this is just to spread the love and show that there is cheer and kindness in the world that we all need. And to be magical for littles and to be magical for their Nana, because when grandparents and parents that they see you, it takes them back to a special time in their life when they were a little and they loved Christmas time. And if I can help give that to them entirely, then I have found my calling. There's nothing better. So I did a lot of photo shoots. I did the Mall of America, which was cool. I didn't get to see. I went to the Mall of America 2.5 years ago, to visit my niece and to buy a pair of green Doc Marten boots. And I bought them there and I put them on at the Doc Marten store. And I walked out and I said, the next time I come back to the Mall of America, I'm going to have my Santa suit on with these boots. And fellas, 2 years and 4 months and like 2 weeks later, I walked in the Mall of America, the backside and the big industrial part with those boots on. Nice. And that's what Santa has been for me. If I think it and I want to dream it And I think that can happen. I'm just going to think that that's going to happen. I'm not going to question it. That's how I got to go overseas. That's how I'm going to end up in this other stuff that you'll see me in. Is just because I believe that's just what it's supposed to happen. And I didn't know that the first couple of years as Santa. New Santa, you don't know it. When you're a brand new Santa, you get around all that energy of all the littles, and you just got to manage your own inner emotions so you can be present for them. And so after you do it 1,000 times, 2 or 3 years, and if you're busy and you're working it and you take it serious, then you can learn how to kind of shift that energy and think, oh my gosh, how cool would it be if I was in what if I was in a fire truck in a parade? Oh, that's cool. Next thing you know, you're in a fire truck in a parade. Or what about a train going to a light up festival? Well, you're doing that. If you think to yourself, oh, well, they'd never choose me to be the Santa for that, you're correct. If that's what you think. But if you think, you know what, they need me to be their Santa. And it may not be my town in which I live in, but it may be 120 miles up the road who does one but doesn't have a Santa. If you're willing to do those things to do it, it will happen. And I'm living for that. 5 years ago, I just barely put on that first little Santa suit. I didn't know what I was doing. First little kid asked me, do you know all the reindeer names? I didn't know them. I said, the only reindeer name I need to know tonight is Rudolph because it's foggy out here and he's going to come get me. And when I learned that, what was ironic, one of the first kids, when I first became Santa, said, is it true that Santa can speak all the languages of the world? I said, yep. He said, speak Russian. I said, well, I would if I was in Russia, but I'm not. I'm in Charlestown, so we're going to speak Charlestown. And he goes, okay. Well, I took some earbuds with me when I went overseas this year and kind of played around with them that are the translator earbuds. And so you literally can go all over the world and translate and communicate all the languages as Santa.
Wow.
And I dig that. I get a big question as Santa a lot during the season. What's your favorite cookie? Well, my standard answer has always been, what's grandma's favorite cookie? What's your mama's favorite cookie? Because I'm going to bet that 9 out of 10 times, if they have a female in their family, they're the ones that are in charge of the cookies. They just are. And so if they're going to be in charge of the cookies, I want to request a cookie that they like, that they may not always get themselves. You know what I mean? And so, but I kind of changed it this year. I said, well, it depends on where I am. Because the cookies I eat here in Louisville, Kentucky, and the tradition that people have in making these cookies at this time is different than the ones in Alberta, Canada, London, England, Mozambique, in South America, in China, in Japan, down in Australia. They have their own traditions of their favorite type of culture and food. So when I'm in your home, wherever it may be, St. Petersburg, Russia, I'm doing a drop-by, I'm going to eat the cookie that you all love to eat.
Wow.
And my kids that are a little bit older got that. They got that. I got to pass that along to them. I was real proud of that. Because it is important for people to know that we all celebrate Christmas a little bit different all over the world.
Right.
And all of us as Santas interpret being Santa in different ways all over the world. I'm just one that interprets it in my own way, and so it really allowed me this season to be present. It's funny, we started with being present. If I think about, I did one of those Chat GPT word scrambles of all my social media for 90 days, and the number one word was present. And I learned a lot. I learned the power of really for new Santas, make sure you listen very closely. If you have a hearing aid, which is very normal, especially for old dudes, turn it up, get your volume correct, and learn to read lips, because you want to hear what these littles are saying, because you are a communicator from the little to the parent. Because littles sometimes will tell you something that they've never told their parent that they want for Christmas.
That's right.
They will. It's just they're like, a parent will go, well, I had no idea that that's what they wanted. And I'm like, well, they're telling you. And what you tell Santa is a lot of times the most honest thing that you're thinking.
Right.
That's right.
Top items that were requested this year was always fun. Little girls, lots of Labubus, lots of baby dolls.
Right.
Little boys, fart blaster Legos. Legos are still super duper important, and I love that because they're non-screen.
Yep.
But 3D printer was my number one thing requested for a
Wow.
little bit older kids, because they've hit a price point of under 300, 350 bucks. It's the same as a gaming system, but it gives them something tangible.
Right.
And if you think about it, these littles that are using these 3D printers are going to be the first generation in our culture that has these 3D printers in their house, and they need a 90-degree plumbing angle, and they can't get it at a store because it's a 150-year-old house. They can just print one out.
Right.
It's happening.
That is wild, because that's something that I was not asked for once this year. Now that you mentioned it, I think the number one for me was the new iPhone. That was the number one for me. And this coming from 6, 7-year-old kids, you're like, and their parents back there going.
Tom, did you have any tough nights or visits this year where you were in a situation where, whether it was through economics or sadness or whatever, did you have any tough struggles this year as Santa?
Absolutely.
What sticks out in your mind?
There's always seems like there's one in particular, or one every year. And I talked to the parent about this because they were apologizing to me. They were down on their luck. They were down on, some hard times. And I told them, you have nothing to apologize to me for. For one, I've been there in my life. So you have nothing to apologize for. And it was a calling. They didn't have the money to take pictures with Santa. They couldn't make it to the mall. So I drove to their house, went in the home. It was the grandmother, and of course they were in tears, and and it just, the kids just so happy. And I won't go in. This is your show, Santa, but I just want to say that and I'll just say this to everybody. I draw a lot of inspiration from Santa Lincoln. Lots, anytime I feel like, if I ever get a question, what am I doing? Why am I doing this for? Click over and watch him marching through, the Hong Kong International Airport. Oh, man, this is because I want to do this. I want to do exactly that. And Chief and Dino, one of the funniest pieces of advice when I first reached out and met Santa Lincoln was, and this is no knock on any Santa out there. And I know he didn't mean it this way, is, I asked him, how are you so energetic? How are you so positive? He says, well, just don't listen to all the old fuddy-duddies, if there's something like that, keep it for real. And it just meant a lot to me, but I will leave it at that and continue. I know you talked about changing gears, going over to overseas this year. And I don't know if you were done with
I'm almost done
with that, but please continue. And we do have a quick question, real quick.
Yeah,
and
I was going to say, do we have any questions as we transition?
Right. And maybe this, Kay Houston says, Kenny says, question for the Santas: if we have the time for older kids, do you play Santa, help Santa, or you Santa?
Great question. I'm ready. You ready for my answer?
Go for it.
I categorize people in 4 categories: Christmas 1.0, which is 10 and under; Christmas 2.0, which is 11 to 18; Christmas 3.0 is 18 to grandparenthood; and then 4.0 is grandparenthood. The first one loves it, and the grandparenthood is those match. Those two energies match. The 2.0 are these 11, 12-year-old, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kids who believed in Santa not long ago, but they now kind of know that it's not what they thought it was, because grade, 6th grade, whatever. People tell us, right? I get it. And so what I do is I explain the importance of 2.0, because 2.0 is we got to keep this Christmas magic alive. And so you got to help do that with your little siblings. And 3.0 is when you got to kind of have to start having a financial responsibility for all of it and putting all the stuff together and helping me. But I tell people all the time, I'm like, being Santa is kind of like being the Pope. We had a Pope from the U.S., is now the Pope over in Vatican City. He's from South America and Chicago, I believe. And he gets to wear the Pope ring. Only one Pope, only one Catholic priest gets to wear the Pope ring, and that's the Pope. And that's just the way Santa is. You got all these Santa helpers. They all get to help. They all got to do it. But only one gets to wear the ring. Now, it's not a big flashy ring. It doesn't have a bunch of diamonds on it. It's very simple. It's green because that's the power of kindness. And someday you just wake up and that ring is waiting for you and you put it on. And if you're the Pope, a priest, you become the Pope. If you're me, you become Santa Claus. And I switch the subject and we move on and we don't talk about it anymore. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. I love it.
It just gives them that step two. And the littles don't really care. They just want to know that you're there and you're going to pay attention to them. So when I would do these Elf on the Shelf deliveries, that would really give me the chance to get one-on-one, to round up my local season. That was the beauty of my season. Was my toughest visit was with the homeless shelter folks and with an adoption agency group. Had 200 kids that are a part of the adoption and foster home community. I don't charge those people any money to be their Santa. I charge those that can't afford to pay handsomely so I can do it for those that can't. And I had 10 or 12 kids ask for their families. I just want my family. I just want my mom. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care how positive you are. You hear that, it's like, poo, poo, poo. And this little chunky little 12-year-old kid, looked just like me, little blonde head boy, little farm boy, comes sit down. I go, what's wrong, buddy? He goes, my dad, I was hoping he was, all I want for Christmas is him to get out of jail by Christmas Eve. Well, fellas, it rocked my world. And I stopped what I was doing. I put my arm around him. I gave him a hug. And I said, now listen, here's the deal. Nothing in life is permanent. I promise you, you're going to get through this. And you're going to be back with your dad, and all's going to be okay with the world. But for now, what you got to do is you just got to know that he loves you and he's doing the best he can.
Right.
And
awesome.
He kind of shrugged me up. I go, so what do you want for Christmas? He goes, an iPhone 18.
Right.
And I'm like, fella, and all the little kids, if they ain't asking for their family back, they're asking for an iPad or iPhone. Y'all ain't getting your family back. You ain't getting your phones back. Your phones, you're not getting any of that. And that event rocked me. It was the third year I've done it. I walked out of there hurting. It hurt me. It hurt my soul. It hurt my energy. It hurt all of it. The next morning, I got to go be with some little school kids who, one of them, the last 3 years, little preschooler, she's been scared to death to see me. I walked in this year. She was the happiest kid in the room. And so that one little ounce of that balanced out the yin to the yang of all those kids that are having such a tough time. But, you know, they're having a tough time. They were there. They were in a bowling alley. They were with their friends, and they got a one-on-one with Santa. And so that kind of wrapped my season, right? That gave me the chance to do all the things locally, go up to the Mall of America, see what it's like to be a true photo Santa. And I was good. I'm like, I'm leaving the 17th. I'm going to Hong Kong. I'm going to perform for a week there. And the way the flights and everything worked, we got a couple extra days. We're going to go to Tokyo, Japan. My season's pretty much over. I had a great season. I knew who was going to rebook. I got all my stuff packed. And I got on the plane headed to Hong Kong. And I felt really good about what my season had done. And I really underestimated the impact of what the next 13 days would do to my life. And I got to Hong Kong and I had a day and a half of open that I got to do some really fun stuff myself and with the other Santa that I travel with, Colorado Santa out of Colorado Springs, Mark Whitehouse. He's an amazing guy. And I got to go see one of the Buddhas in the world. I got some real personal time in Hong Kong. And I was in Hong Kong for a day and a half by myself, whereas last year Mark and I went together. But I wasn't as intimidated as I was last year. I got on the train. I went downtown. I did all the things. But I'm telling you, my Hong Kong performance this year was a lot more intense than it was last year. Last year was with a 8-piece band. This year it was with a 10-piece band. This year it was with a troupe of dancers and a 15-foot tall Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer puppet and a woman on stilts that's 10 foot tall. And we marched through the airport 25,000 steps a day, and I would lead, and we'd stop, and they would do a dance, and I'd dance with them, and then we'd take pictures for 15 minutes, and then we'd do another steps and go down the hall, and then just come back. And it was a 45-minute performance for 7 days, and it tested everything that I had. I really loved it. I loved being a performer. It gave me the chance as a Santa to really see what it's like to perform on a stage, even more than last year. And I pushed myself. I pushed my limits physically. I didn't eat correctly the first 2 days. So the third day, I was really struggling. I was looking for a trash can, thinking, I'm going to get sick. I'm not feeling well. And that was the moment in time that I realized that performing at this level is different than performing at a level that I've been. Everybody wants to be an international Santa until you got to do it. And I'm going to tell you, it rocked me. And I pulled it off. I made it. We did every performance. I had huge impact. I got to meet some amazing people. I got to operate on a stage that very few, if any, Santas ever get to do. And I embraced it. And I made it the best that I could. But before I talk about Tokyo, and then we're going to take some questions. When I was at the Denver airport, I flew Louisville, Denver, San Francisco, Hong Kong, which is a 17-hour flight. But when I went to Denver, I had a 5-6 hour layover, and I forgot that I did not print out a hard copy of my work visa for Hong Kong. And here's the one thing I want to tell you about when you travel to Asia. People in Asia, Hong Kong, Tokyo, where I had been, Japan, they don't fray from the rules. They don't break the rules. We don't make exceptions. This is the rule. This is what it is. We don't fray from that. Well, in the U.S., we kind of break rules, make exceptions. So I didn't have my printed visa. I had it electronically, and it freaked me out. So I went to a info desk, and she said, go to the exchange desk where they exchange your money, and they'll be able to print it out for you. And I went there. He goes, no, man, our printer don't work no more. He said, just like that. And I'm like, damn. So I got frustrated. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have to wing it and show them my digital copy and nothing I can do about it. That's just the way it is. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. I could have worried it. Old Lincoln would have worried about it on the entire flight over. I'm not going to do that. So I went back to the info station to ask the lady, and she looked at me, and she looked like she saw a ghost. And she said, well, maybe he would know. And I looked, and there was a family of a mom and dad, a grandma and grandpa, and a little boy that was 8 or 9 years old. And he had a letter in his hand to Santa. And at that part of the airport, at the Denver International Airport, they used to have a big Santa box where kids that travel with their families, they could drop their letter in at the airport. Well, they moved that mailbox. It wasn't there anymore. And at that exact time was when I stepped up. I had my Santa workout outfit on. I look like Santa. I mean, I look a lot like the iconic American Santa. And I go, oh, what do you have? And I have my little Santa pouch with it says Santa on it. And it's a little green bag, over the shoulder bag. And I said, you have something for me? And he looked at me like, what is happening right now? And the mom is crying. And the lady at the research desk is crying, info desk. And so he gives me his letter. I put it. I give him one of my cards. I give him a rubber ducky. I give him some nuts and a high five. And I go back to the United Club for a few hours and chill out. And I realized that sometimes being Santa is just serendipitous. You can't plan it. I spent a lot of time in January and February, fellas, planning my Christmas season. A lot of what you saw me do at Christmas time last year was planned in January and February of last year. So I'm in some things take 8 or 9 months to develop, whether it's media or TV or movie or whatever. I was in a movie last year. I mean, sometimes it just takes a while. And when you get caught up in it, you always need that little reminder that Santa is serendipitous. And it just is. And we couldn't have planned that visit with that little kid for anything. And it just happened. And that was really amazing. And so that's that's the energy I took to China. So I had some great time in Hong Kong. I learned to perform in a different way. I took lots of pictures. I just was really honed in and focused because all I could do was see that last day that I was done. And the next day we were picking a flight and we're going to Tokyo. And that's what I want to share with you all about. So we get on a plane, we fly Nippon Airlines, which is a Japanese airline from Hong Kong to Tokyo, 6-hour flight, nicest commercial flight I've ever been on in my life. In just regular coach was like our first class. They're nice. Japanese people are so nice. They're so nice. They're so polite. Tokyo was so clean. Everybody was so friendly. Now it helps I have this beard and I look like Santa. They like Santa because you don't see a lot of white bearded men there. And so I stand out. And I'm okay with that. I like that. I lean into that. And we got to Tokyo, and I'm going to tell you, it was one of the coolest cities I've ever been. And I've been to Europe. I've been to Canada. I've been, down south and all that. It was just so interesting. The architecture was interesting. The people were interesting. And we just got lost in the culture a little bit. We had one day that we spent with a guy who is a professional magician on cruise ships. And so he lives in Tokyo. He's lived there 28 years. He's from Florida originally. I said, "Where are you from, Steve?" He goes, "Lakeland, Florida." I go, "Really?" I know a guy that was from Lakeland, Florida, a guy named Scott Higginbotham. He was an auctioneer. He goes, "I went to high school with him." And Scott's no longer with us. He's passed away. So we talked about that. And I'm like, that's weird. And then it's not weird. And so we just spent the day, me, him, and Mark, wandering through Tokyo. We went to a Shinto shrine, which is Shintoism religion in Japan, the predominant religion. And we went to this shrine, and it was really, just really cool. And so we got to really be a part of the culture of Tokyo by the 3 different days. One day it was just me and Mark. We went up in a Tokyo Tower. We raced Mario Karts through downtown Tokyo in a Santa suit.
Nice.
Yelling. It's the busiest intersection in the world, Shibuya Crossing, Shibuya Scramble in Tokyo. 2,500 people go across. So we were in that. We were driving through it, and photos and people screaming, "Santa, Santa." And you know what was cool? I was in this go-kart driving through the downtown streets of Tokyo, Japan. And what I was feeling as Santa at that time was the same feeling that I felt when I was in a fire truck in St. Matthews, Kentucky, getting ready to go to a big event, on a parade float in Jeffersonville, Indiana, on a plane going to Minneapolis to be Mall of America Santa. It all felt the same internally. So if I ever get a chance to think about what else I want to do as a Santa on a cruise ship or a flatboat or a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade or whatever, I just got to know that it all feels the same. It's not different. And it feels the same because it's exactly where I belong. And I didn't understand that before I went to China and Tokyo this year. In Tokyo, I had those 3 days where I got to unwind from that performance that killed me and really just get zoned in on what people in Tokyo, Japan are like. And the 3rd day was our last day, and there was a wonderful man, and his partner picked us up, and he is a magician. Mark, who I traveled with, is a magician. And magicians are really connected, literally, even more than Santas, all over the world. And there's a whole magician world all over the community all over the world. And so Mark's connected all these people. And this guy's like the minister of magic for Japan. It was just amazing. We rode around in his car. He took us to a 5-course lunch. We took us to the airport. He talked to us about local Japanese culture and food. And we had this amazing dinner. Our lunch, it was just cool. But we went to this little town called Sawara, Japan. It was just like a little community anywhere else in the U.S. Little local people living their life, farming, community, all of that. This was a community that originated in soy and sake production because they had a little river that ran all the way to Tokyo. And I went in this one business, the last building that I went in. I knew the town was old, 400 years old. Some of the houses were 300 years old. I saw this sign for a local business that said, "Since 1657.
Wow.
And I'm like, since 1657. We're excited about our 250 as Americans. I'm excited. I get excited knowing I've been doing something for 30 years, 5 years as Saint, right? We celebrate all those moments. 1657. And what I learned was that community, while it did not change, it did change. And they did find a way to adapt and change and move with the market. And that's how they've been in the deal since 1657, because they always knew how to flow, right? They always knew how to flow with whatever they needed. I got to see that firsthand. Now, I got on a plane in Tokyo and flew to Denver and then flew home. And when I got home, I had all my packages. It was midnight when I got home, and I'm like, I left nothing on the floor in Tokyo or Hong Kong. Last year I did. And that was a real personal sense of gratification, because I could do everything I wanted to do on the local market. And then I got to do what I wanted to do on the international market. And it makes me feel complete. It makes me feel like, okay, what fun stuff can I do in 2026? Yeah. And what can I not limit my beliefs on thinking that I can be a Santa in 2026? Right. So that's it. That's all I got. Let's answer it.
That is just so amazing.
I could do this for the next 3 hours, though. Honestly,
you hear, and guys, I'm gonna tell you, other than and a lot of guys, a lot of professional Santas have other jobs. It's obviously it's seasonal. And some guys are clowns. Some guys are Easter bunnies and everything else throughout the year. And they live this kind of lifestyle. A lot of people just don't realize how much it takes out of you. And especially like you're talking about, Santa Lincoln, when you're giving it everything you got. And when the kids are coming up, there's so many emotions involved. It is so fulfilling, but it will sap everything out of you. All the emotions.
How to deal with that early on. So there's advice for first Santas. Find a Santa buddy that's done it a few times and talk to them about the sad shit that you hear.
That's right. Well, that goes into a good
unsee.
Right. That goes into a good question. Renee, owner of Black Manor Grooming, asked, she says, were you nervous your first time ever being Santa?
Absolutely scared to death. It was a whole other level of butterflies and angst and anxiety. But I knew I had to do it.
Right.
I just knew that I had to do it. And I'd be mad at myself if I didn't.
Now let me ask you this, because I find that it yes, you are nervous, but when you put on the suit, is it for you the same way? You just feel like, you're a different person.
I dance with my suit on. I don't know how many hashtags dancing Santa. I don't dance a whole lot without my suit on. I will with my dancing chef in her kitchen, but for the most part, once I put that Santa suit on, it is my superhero suit.
Yes.
And I really roll with it. So yeah, it gives me power.
I wish I could. I got a quick story, and then we're gonna start wrapping the show. I do have a quick story. I've been wanting to say this, and I've been saving it for this show, and I almost forgot about it. So I had this event, and it was a huge event. I'm talking about probably the biggest event I've done this year. There was probably 400 or 500 people there. And I go in there. It's this big auditorium. They're getting ready. They're going to take me in there. And it was a church function, but it was like a different nationality, right? So I go in. I'm getting ready. I'm thinking, this is my Santa Lincoln moment. I'm about to run in there. The video where you're running through the school, giving kids high fives, and they're cheering. I'm thinking to myself, I go in there and I say, "Merry Christmas." Is dead silent.
They just
sat there staring. I said, okay. Well, I had no clue, right? But I thought it was so funny. I'm thinking to myself, here comes my Santa Lincoln moment. No.
Well, Santa Lincoln's had a lot of those moments. Trust me. That was Santa Lincoln moment. I bet next time you do it, you'll ask what their language is in.
Right. And then Dino's 30 Spray J. And for those of you who don't know, Dino is starting in a Santa school and going to join the Brotherhood. And we are very, very excited for that.
Yep. I will be starting next weekend. I'm going to start the Santa school next weekend. I'll be doing that. So that kind of leads me into, I know I kind of always do the famous question, but I wanted to do a different question for you, Santa Lincoln Crum. What is your advice, some key points for somebody who is going to become a new Santa? Key points and some advice to help them out to get to their Santa journey and become Santa.
Yeah. So, everybody's is different. And, but those first few visits are the same for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you got to do is you just got to remain present, and you have to not worry about the questions that you can't answer. Because in our head, we ask ourselves and overanalyze, and adults way overanalyze more than they ever should. And so what you want to do is you just want to get comfortable in your suit, whatever that suit is that you have on, and make sure that your glasses feel correct because you want to see people, and you want to make sure that you're in an area where you can hear people. That's very important. I am a consent culture Santa. So before I put my hands on a child or pick up a child, I let them know what I'm doing, or I ask them, is it okay? You want to stand here, sit on my knee. We don't talk about the lap anymore. It's sit on my knee. If you're handling children, wear gloves. I'm a huge stickler in that. I wear all different color gloves, but the gloves are really important for me because I'm touching someone else's child and they're skin on skin. And I always want my gloves to be seen in whatever photo there is. And, not get caught up in the what ifs. I did that a little bit. Well, what if they ask me this? What if they ask you stuff you don't know the answer to?
Right.
But you got to also remember that they really just want to talk to you. And and a lot of times littles come up to you and they'll freeze up, man. They will not say a word. That is real. And you learn how to shift the conversation, and you keep it light. Keep it light as much as possible. And brace yourself when first time somebody tells you their chemo's not working and this is their last Christmas.
Right.
You just got to brace for that. Nobody told me about that crap before I got started.
Right.
I talk about those things now. That's very important.
Right.
That's my advice. Have comfortable shoes that look good. Make sure your stuff lines up, your buttons lined up. I know that. Your buttons line up. You want to be, don't have an open collar where you're showing your skin. All of those things. It just has to be, that's important.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, as somebody who's going to start the Santa journey, I feel very lucky because I have mentors like yourself. I have Santa Tom, and I have the Santa Squad. So I actually have it very easy because I have really awesome mentors. And I guess the other important question I want to ask you, and then I'll pass on, is, can I wear Jordans as a Santa?
Yeah. I got a pair of orange and black ones that I wore last season that I got from a shoe deal that I did. And you betcha.
That's awesome. Chief, do you have any questions? Chief's been so quiet the whole show.
I'm intent, man. I did have a question, and it's kind of two parts. How long in years have you been doing this? First part. Second part, when did you know that you were going to do this as a calling? When did it grab you and pull you in?
October 21st, 2021. I put on my little Amazon suit, my little hat, my fake glasses. I started crying in the mirror. And I just what is happening to me? And I had my suit on that night. I wore it out that night somewhere. And it was frightening. It was scary. But it was also invigorating. It's also a wonderful feeling.
Good.
It really is. It's it's when I feel my best. When I'm Santa is when I feel my best.
100%.
And so, yeah, for sure. I want to tell you all what beard product I'm using real quick.
Absolutely.
This is from Franklin, Tennessee Lumberjack.
Yeah.
And that's a beard butter. And that's their oil. And it is the strongest maple syrup smell that I've ever had on my face. But man, I love this beard oil. I get more comments on it. So that's my beard oil push to whoever Lumberjack is. Thank you.
I am so glad that you're using beard products. And
man. Thank you.
Hey, man, that's awesome.
Hey, I had to cut this down. I cut this down after the season, and it absolutely killed me. But I'm glad I did. It feels good, and it's coming back nice and fresh and all those things. But yeah.
It does, absolutely. Well, I got a final question before we let these
Yeah.
fine folks go enjoy their Thursday night. And that is, and we talked about this before the show, and I asked you to think about it. There's a lot of turmoil always in this world. I try to end every show with a saying that it's not just a saying, it's something that I feel and I try to live by every day. And that is, this world could use a little kindness. So be kind to one another. And as always, keep Christmas in your heart year round. Now, I don't mean that as some just little play on words. I mean that because of that feeling that we get at Christmas time that everybody gets, that nobody can explain. With everything going on in the world right now, what is Santa Lincoln Crum's 365-day a year advice that you would give somebody that might just be feeling what's going on in this world right now? What is happening right now? What can I do to make a difference?
So I have this little meme that my daughter created for me that says, kind people are my kind of people. It's got my picture on it. And I share that a lot. And one of the things that I get to do 365 is I get to help other people. I help feed people. I help water people through bottled water donations, through food, through gift card donations. I learned how to bake bread a couple of years ago. I learned how to be patient. I learned how to give things away with dignity. And I really wanted to focus a lot on being present. And the people that teach me how to be present the most, a lot of times there's somebody with an extra chromosome, somebody that society may say is on a spectrum, or somebody doesn't learn the same way other people do. Usually those are the people that I go to charge my batteries up, right? I mean, sometimes if you think about it, the time I spend with regular little kids who are my favorite in the world, I love all the littles. This like charging my phone with a regular charger. It takes a minute. I get all my energy. But if I'm in a room full of Down syndrome kids, it's the fastest charge I've ever received in my life. And so the Down syndrome community is very, very much driven by being present and being loved and being kind. And they're sweet people as a whole. And so that's really important for me. To charge my batteries, and I learned how to do that, and that's by being present with people. But so I've written this talk called How to Stay Present in a Hungry World, Tom. And when I give this talk, I talk about, at Christmas time, we get to unwrap this gift that we've been building all year long. And sometimes the gift that we've been building all year long is a big box with a pretty bow and lots of ribbon. But sometimes it's a box that's wrapped 15 times and 15 other boxes. So somebody's got to really work to get it open because it's funny and makes everybody laugh. Sometimes it's just a gift bag with a staple and you go with it. But how we treat those presents is kind of like how we treat the relationships in our lives. Do we take care when we open a package? Do we just get a knife and start swiping and cutting? Do we do that to people and relationships in our world all year long, and then at Christmas time expect for that not to have any impact on the present? So if you spend time as much as possible all year long, wrapping, preparing, thinking about the people that are getting a gift, being a part of their daily life, knowing what they really want, not buying them something for yourself, which a lot of people do, and getting them that gift, and then the act of them unwrapping it, taking the time. The analogy of it, that's the same as our relationships. What you open up is the relationships that you have in your life in that present, because the present moment is our greatest gift that we get, not a gift under a tree. So if you take your time and you unwrap and think with care with that gift, you're going to deliver what you want. And sometimes during the holidays, it's not easy. It's not easy. We love people. We love people that we like. We love people that we sometimes don't like, but we still love them. And so Christmas kind of gives us the chance to glue that package together at the end of the year, and then we start over. And so when I think about being present all year long, the gifts we get at Christmas weren't just given at Christmas. They've been thought about all year long. They've been talked about. They've been that people give when the kids stop believing as much. They give gifts as trips, things like that. And you do that all year. So you might as well have that same concept all year long and think about how grateful you are to have those people in your life. And if you're not grateful to have those people in your life, then you should work that change usually happens in the present moment, in your presence. Presence, in your presence. That's where it's found. So you got to look at that from within before you go try to open a bunch of gifts. You got to make sure your package is good. And the present moment of being Santa allows me to share that message with people all year long.
That's awesome.
It is.
So,
Well, we are going to leave it at that for right now. Santa Lincoln, I want to thank you so much for coming in. You're such an inspiration to me and many others. I appreciate your advice. I appreciate any time I reach out to you, you're there to answer any questions. I look forward to our continued friendship and just and learning and just gleaning from your joy and the spirit that you bring, not just to Christmas, but to everyday life. And guys, join us.
I can't wait till the last week of 6 talking about all the fun stuff that we got to do this year.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it already.
Let's build a really nice present all year long, and let's unwrap it a year from tonight. How's that?
That's awesome. Outstanding.
All right.
Well, we look forward to having you on again. Appreciate you being here. For Dino Propus, for the Bearded Chief, Steve Banos, I am Santa Tom, guys. Thank you. Remember to join us next Thursday, where we will have Elegant Sasquatch on to talk about a lot of new things that he has going, that Chris has going on. So thank you guys so much. Remember, the Bearded Respect will be on tomorrow morning. Goodness gracious, Tom. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss them. We will be there. Look forward to seeing you guys next time. Remember, this world could use a little kindness, so be kind to one another. And as always, keep Christmas in your heart year-round. See you later, guys.